Let's play my favorite game. How many planets do you think are in this image? You see an image like this and you think, wow, look at all those stars. There's probably so many planets. I wonder if there's any intelligent life that is literally looking up and looking back at us in this moment. And the answer is there probably isn't. The photo was taken by the Hubble Space Telescope. It's a globular cluster called NGC 362, and it's about 100,000 stars packed relatively closely together. I actually study exoplanets, and what we know from years of planet hunting is that stars in our galaxy average 1.1 planets. You may think, how does a star have 0.1 of a planet? But that's an average. So this tells you that most stars have more than one planet. Of course, that's a lower limit. It's very hard to detect small planets and planets that orbit very far from their stars. So I wouldn't be surprised if that number was much higher. But if you think of 1.1 planets per star and about 100,000 stars, you may say that there's probably at least 100,000 planets here. That would make sense. Except it doesn't, because globular clusters like this are probably the worst place in the galaxy to try and form and keep planets. These stars are relatively close together, which means there's going to be extreme radiation coming from every direction. There's going to be gravitational chaos from stellar flybys as stars are moving past one another. And all of this is going to disrupt the disks that need to be stable in order for planets to form. It gets even worse. Most globular clusters are older than 12 billion years. They formed long before a galaxy like the Milky Way would even have been recognizable. You were forming these globular clusters, and you were forming them during a time when heavy metals hadn't had a chance to build up yet. Metals are produced by stars, essentially. So if you go to the beginning of the universe, you simply haven't had enough time for stars to produce a bunch of metals. And over many billions of years, these globular clusters evolve with the galaxy. You can see a depiction of the Milky Way galaxy, and the globular clusters are actually not in the disk with most of the other stars. They are orbiting around in what's called the halo. With these globular clusters, you get these little pockets of hundreds of thousands of stars that are really old orbiting around the Milky Way. They're places that are not really conducive to having many exoplanets. These globular clusters, they're really cool to look at. I mean, it's a beautiful image. They're ancient. They're actual relics from the early universe, but there probably isn't that many planets here.